CBASS stands for the Casco Bay Aquatic System Survey, and what CBASS is a long-term survey of the Casco Bay ecosystem, and particularly what we're looking at is some of the linkages that are taking place in this ecosystem, including the linkage between the rivers in the bay, as well as linkages between predator and prey species, primarily fish species, but also crustacean species, and how climate and temperature also may be impacting the ecosystem. So we definitely expect over the long term climate change to have impacts on these nearshore ecosystems, and we're set up now to monitor those impacts. And really the long term sort of aspect of CBASS allows us to see this change more so than if we were just looking at a very short-term variation. The most encouraging progress that we've made in year 2 is continuing the monitoring, continuing the dedicated effort that we've seen from our technicians and from our interns to go out there day in and day out and collect the data.
We've had incredible opportunities this summer with seeing all the amazing creatures in Casco Bay. Things like mola and ocean sunfish, poor beagle sharks, basking sharks. If you're only going out on the bay every once in a while, these might seem like a once in a while occurrence, but this summer we saw this whole spread of amazing organisms.
So really CBASS is very data intensive. We have multiple data streams coming in, as I mentioned. We have acoustic data coming in that is representative of forage fish in the water column. We have jigging data, which is 20 different sites where we go out and we fish and we look for ground fish, and seining data where we're looking at fish community over 12 different sites. And so there's a lot of data involved, and really what we want to be able to do is make that data available to the public through a web portal. And so people could be able to go into that map, click on a site, and see what we've been doing and what we've been seeing in terms of some of the trends. Right now, after year 2, we might see some short-term fluctuations, but after 10 years, you might be able to click on a site and see how, say for instance, cod catch at a particular site has changed over 10 years.
It's very important to us in the work that we do that data are freely accessible and shareable, and anyone can access them. And what's exciting about making the data available through these different subcomponents of CBASS is that it's going to be accessible and usable by anybody who has interest in what we're doing.
One of the biggest or most frequent times that we interact with people is when we're doing the beach scenes. It's really easy to interact with them and explain what we're doing, why we're out there. We have the net, we pull it up, and we dump the catch into a bucket, and we're measuring out everything, and we're IDing out the different species that we're seeing. And that's what people want to see. They're like, oh, what kind of fish is that? What kind of crab is that? Oh, do you always see these here? It's great interactions, because that's the exact kind of questions that we're asking.
I think that this is an incredibly important opportunity to understand ecosystem dynamics in coastal Maine. Without the support that we've gotten, we wouldn't be able to see some of the long-term trends that are taking place and are likely to continue to take place. And so really, to be able to understand climate change, we need to take this long-term view. And I think CBASS is one of the very few projects that I'm aware of that is allowing us to take this view and understand this ecosystem in the way that we hopefully will be able to.